Hi and welcome. Today I'd like to run through some of the basic controls and keystrokes you need to get under your belt to get started with the Samplitude Access scripts and Samplitude. So this is from a beginner's point of view, but equally these are keystrokes you will use all of the time. So first of all, I want to show you JAWS, Key, Control and T.
Location, VIP window.
That tells you your location. So as you start working in different windows, you'll need that feedback of where you are, and that is the keystroke to use: JAWS, Key, Control and T. It told us we're in the VIP window, so while we're in here, which is kind of like the main track view where you'll be working, we up and down arrow through tracks.
2 swell crash, 3 vocalize motif, 4 vocalize, 3 vocalize, 2 swell crash, 1 piano strings.
We use left and right arrow to move through the transport.
Bar 2 beat 1 tick 0, bar 3 beat 1 tick 0, bar 4 beat 1 tick 0, bar 5 beat 1 tick 0, bar 4 beat 1 tick 0.
We press home to go to the beginning of the project.
Bar 1 beat 1 tick 0.
And we press end to go to the end of the project. We press space bar to start and stop the playback. Okay, we can also use F12 to start the playback, and what that does, the next time we press it, it will stop the playback where we've actually stopped it. So I'll press F12, I'll press it again now. So next time we press F12 or the space bar, it will play from that position. Okay, I'll stop, go to the beginning.
Bar 1 beat 1 tick 0.
And we're back at the beginning of the project. So they're the basic kind of navigation and transport controls. One more thing to add to that is if we wanted to move by beats, we can press Shift F5.
Snap to beats.
A bar is Shift F6.
Snap to 1 bar.
2 bars is Shift F7.
Snap to 2 bars.
And 4 bars is Shift F8.
Snap to 4 bars.
So at 4 bars, if I press the right arrow key,
bar 5 beat 1 tick 0, bar 9 beat 1 tick 0.
We're moving by 4 bars. Go to the beginning.
Bar 1 beat 1 tick 0.
I'll go back to a bar.
Snap to 1 bar.
Okay, so they're the basic navigation and track transport controls. When we're on a track, when we tab or shift tab, we will move through the controls on that track strip. So I'll tab.
Solo off.
We've got solo.
Mute off.
Mute.
Record ready off.
Record.
Monitoring off.
Monitoring.
Lock off.
Lock.
Volume 4.7.
Volume.
Pan 0.0.
Pan.
Volume curve off.
Volume curve.
Pan curve off.
Pan curve.
Revolver menu.
Revolver menu.
Track 1 piano strings.
And then we're back to the track name. So for example, if I arrow to track 2.
2 swell crash.
And tabbed.
Solo off.
That is the solo for track 2.
Track 2 swell crash. 1 piano strings.
Go back to track 1. So when we're on one of these controls, we can press enter to activate it. So on the name, we can press enter.
Track name, edit, piano strings.
And we can rename it. So I'll call it test.
Enter. 1 test.
It's now called test. If I tab to a button,
solo off.
It toggles that button.
Solo on. Solo off. Solo on. Solo off.
Okay. So for example, if I go to
mute off, record ready off.
Let's go to
mute off.
The mute.
Mute on. Mute off.
It toggles it. If we go
record
to volume.
Off. Monitoring off. Lock off. Volume 4.7.
It opens
volume edit 4.7.
An edit field where we can change the value. So up and down arrow in this edit field.
5.70.
Changes it by 1 dB.
6.70.
Page up, page down by 10 dB.
16.70. 26.70.
And shift up and down arrow by smaller amounts.
26.80. 26.90.
Okay, I'll press escape to come out of that.
1 test.
And we'll go to the track name.
Track 1 test.
So the last one on the track strip is control applications. So if I press control applications on a particular control, it will open its associated context menu. So we go to the solo.
Solo off.
I press control applications.
Control options. Context menu. S. Solo alt plus S. S.
And it opens the context menu with the options that are associated with the solo. So explore those because they contain stuff like your routing, your outputs and your inputs and things like that. So escape out of that.
Escape. Leaving menus. 1 test.
So to summarize the track strip, we tab and shift tab, we press enter to activate or to toggle, and we press control applications to access any context menu. Okay, so the next set of keystrokes I want to show you are the native keystrokes to Samplitude. So these are keystrokes that we can press and activate those controls directly. So as we was toggling solo, we can press Alt and S
solo on
to toggle that.
Solo off.
So every time I press Alt and S,
solo on,
it will
Solo off.
toggle. Alt and M
Mute on.
for the mute.
Mute off.
We've got Alt and R for the record. Alt and L will open the volume.
Volume. Edit. 4.70.
Okay.
Escape. 1 test.
Alt and P
Pan edit. 0.0.
for the pan.
Escape. 1 test.
And finally, Alt and N
Track name. Edit. Test.
allows us to edit the track name.
Escape. 1 test.
There are some other keystrokes, but we won't go into those for the rest of the controls on the track strip. So they're Samplitude native keystrokes. The next section I want to show you are the quick controls. These are all on the JAWS key and the numpad on your keyboard. So these allow you to get the feedback on the status of a control. So JAWS key and number 4 on the numpad
Solo off.
tells us that solo is off. JAWS key and 5
Record already off.
is the record. If we press it twice,
Monitoring off.
tells us the monitoring, and JAWS key and 6
Mute off.
is the mute. So these are quick controls that allow us to get the information we need. So it could be volume,
Volume. 4.7.
you know, which is JAWS key and home. If we do JAWS key and up arrow,
Track. 1 test.
it's the track. JAWS key and down arrow
Bar 1 beat 1 tick 0.
is the position. If we press it twice,
Bar. Edit position. 001:01:000.
it allows us to edit our position and type it in.
Escape. 1 test.
Okay, so explore those controls because they're at your fingertips and they'll be really, really useful. One thing to note on that is when we press one of these keystrokes, it actually takes us there as well. It reports the status, but it also takes us there. So if I press JAWS key and 6
Mute off.
for the mute, if I press enter immediately afterwards,
Mute on.
it allows us
Mute off.
to toggle that control. So very useful keystrokes. Okay, so if we want further help, you know, these are the basic controls and keystrokes we need to get started. And there's a lot of keystrokes in Samplitude Access and Samplitude, and you're not expected to remember them all. So how do we get help? The first way we can get help is keyboard help. We toggle that on and off with JAWS key and the number 1 on the numbers row.
Keyboard help on.
So when it's on, we can press any combination of keystrokes and it will tell us if there's an action associated with it. So if I press Alt and S,
Alt S. Toggle track solo on/off.
okay, Alt and M,
Alt M. Toggle track mute on/off.
I don't know, Alt and right arrow,
Alt right arrow. Select next object.
Alt and left arrow.
Alt left arrow. Select prior object.
Okay, so you get the idea. We can explore combinations of keystrokes and it will tell us what it does without activating it. So this is really useful if you want to explore, or you've maybe forgot if, I don't know, a particular keystroke was Alt and something, or whether it was Shift and something, or Control and something. You can go into this mode with JAWS key and 1 on the numbers row to find out and just get that confirmation. Then you can turn it off.
Keyboard help off.
And then
Samplitude Pro X4 Suite.
use that keystroke to do the action. The next set of help controls is JAWS key and H. So if we press JAWS key and H once,
JAWS help for Samplitude Pro X4 and Pro X4 Suite keystrokes for obtaining window information.
okay, so we've got a virtual viewer open here, and this is specific to the VIP. So it will bring up the help topic for this page. So if I arrow down a few times to the heading,
Press JAWS key plus and press twice from the VIP plus information. Press JAWS key to open the current to open the Samplitude link if you lose focal blank. VIP main operations.
so we've got a heading, VIP main operations, and then we've got a long list of keystrokes that you can explore just to read and see what's available in a particular window. So we'll escape out of that. Please explore that option.
Escape.
Especially in certain windows. There won't be lots of information in some windows because not a lot of controls are available. The other way we can access help is JAWS key plus H twice.
VIP window. List 1 list view. VIP main operations. 1 of 39.
And what that does, it brings up a list of topics. So if you want to read about specific things such as
VIP objects. 2 of 39.
VIP objects, then all of the information in this file will be to do with objects specifically.
VIP advanced object selection. 3 of
or
39.
advanced object selection,
VIP ranges. 4 of 39.
you know, or ranges. And I think there's about 30 something topics in here that cover all of what Samplitude Access supports. So please, read these topics and get the information you need. I'll escape out of that.
Escape. One test.
Just to note, sometimes you have to press escape twice when escaping out of the help topics. And finally, the other way we can get help is JAWS key and F1 for the README. If we press JAWS key and F1 twice, we will get the keystrokes documentation, and they'll be displayed in HTML format, so you can read the full documentation or a full list of keystrokes from HTML, in HTML format. So that is just another option that you might want to do. So to summarize the help, JAWS key and 1 on a numbers row to toggle keyboard help on and off. JAWS key and H once for page specific help. JAWS key and H twice for topics list. And JAWS key F1 once or twice for the README and keystroke HTML files respectively.